Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I do apologize for being late. Had to handle some business. Welcome, everybody. Listen, apparently, there is a press conference, or there was a press conference. I don't know where we're at with it on the Tepe murders. Welcome, everybody. We might, I have not watched it, so I want to watch it with you guys. And it's not a very long press conference. Let me just let the people know that we're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I didn't even have a thumbnail going yet. Y'all, I have been running, which is typically my thing. I'm always one place to another, can't stay too long, gotta go, gotta do this, gotta do that, yada yada yada. Welcome everybody, welcome. Let me get this thing going. I'm a late. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Tepe murders press conference. Uh-oh. Press conference. Welcome everybody. Let the people get in here since I started late. We're gonna get rid of this real quick and go by this. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for being so patient with me. You guys know I'm not late like I, want to be late. It just happens that, I have to run around. I have to run around and I have to do what I have to do. Make sure we fix everything here on my side. Hopefully, one second. Let the people know of Discord that we're live. Welcome everybody. So I can't wait to tell you guys some stuff that I have going on. And part of it is because I think it's important, right, to give you guys some other stuff that's been happening. But, in due time, let's see. We'll do this one right here. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. Hey, Discord people. We live now. Shout out to everybody. See everybody. We live now. Oh, we got some topics to talk about today. Okay. All right. We'll fix the thumbnail later. We have to do what we have to do. So we have the Tepe murders. They're having a press conference. So we're going to look into that. We'll talk a little bit about D4VD as well. As far as, I guess, the secret Discord that he's been communicating with fans. We'll get into that here. And then we have to talk about Melissa and Timothy Busfield. Apparently, kind of where they stand. Melissa has given a statement and whatnot. And so we're going to get into that as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as we're reviewing various topics. Here we go. Let's get this. Thank you. And we have shared this with everybody on Discord. Thank you. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you. Is it Friday yet? It needs to be. Like literally it needs to be. Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to everyone. Thank you. I want us to get right into the press conference for the Tepe murders, and then we'll transition into the other topics as well. But that is what's breaking right now. So let's watch. I have not seen anything quite yet, but I got it at the timestamp. I think it's over now, actually. So for those that are not familiar with this case, let me give you the 411 on this case, okay? The Tepes, two couples from Ohio, a couple from Ohio. You have Monique and Spencer Tepe. Spencer is a dentist. Monique, they have two wonderful children. They've been married for 5 years. And on December 30th, which is when they feel like the crime occurred, they were shot. There was a welfare check called in and they weren't answering. Spencer was supposed to be at his office. He wasn't. People grew concerned. So they called that welfare check. They have two children, a 17-month-old and a 4-year-old. And so then neighbors and concerned citizens and whatnot could hear the children, but they couldn't hear the parents. So they broke into the apartment and, they got the children. They found Spencer and Monique shot dead. It sounds like it was in their bedroom. Police had released footage of what seemed to be like this, figure walking out of an area where they believe, around the time that the crime had happened. I think it was between the hours of 2 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. Yeah, around that time frame. And then they heard, so all of this went down. They couldn't, they let social media know. People started looking into it. And then, long and behold, on Saturday, the ex-husband, Monique Tepe's ex-husband, is arrested and charged with murder. His charges have been upgraded to aggravated murder, at least one of them that I remember. And so we have been long waiting for a press conference, and here we are with a presser. So let's watch. I have not seen it yet, and I feel like, y'all are my people. We're going to watch it together. Okay, let's get it together. Here we go. I think this is when they start, and I have to run and I got to get me a water bottle. I haven't even gotten that, y'all. Just got off the car and was like, all right, let me running to and do all this. Let's go. Let's get some. Oh, they don't have closed caption. I don't hear them yet. This is the police chief, by the way.
Interrupting Price is Right now. We'll get you right back to the game. There's an update on a major case in Columbus Division of Police providing an update
of 2025 at approximately 10:04 a.m.
Hold up. Let's go right here because they broke in there.
Podium.
About it. So just wanted to go over a little bit of the timeline. On December 30th, 2025 at approximately 10:04 a.m., Columbus Police Patrol officers were dispatched to the 1400 block of North 4th Street on a well-being check. Officers arrived at scene and located the two adult victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. We now know that they were identified as Mr. Spencer Tepe and Mrs. Monique Tepe. Their two small children were also found in the residence, physically unharmed. On January 10th, 2026, detectives filed warrants charging Michael D. McKee, 39, with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Spencer and Monique Tepe. Mr. McKee was arrested in Rockford, Illinois without incident. He's currently incarcerated in the Winnebago County Jail and awaiting extradition to Columbus. We believe at this point, we have the person responsible for the murders of Monique and Spencer Tepe in custody, and that person is Michael McKee. This is still an active and ongoing investigation. Detectives are still going through evidence, tips, and videos. We can't speak to all the specific details related to this case, so we don't want to jeopardize the ultimate goal of conviction. But what we can say, this was a targeted attack. This was a domestic violence related attack. As we know, McKee is the ex-husband of Monique Tepe. We can say that we have the suspect's vehicle on neighborhood video surveillance arriving just before the murders and leaving shortly after. Detectives were able to link this vehicle to McKee. The vehicle was located in Rockford, Illinois, and evidence was found that showed McKee in possession of the vehicle before and after the homicides. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee, and there is a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides. I want to say that our detectives work around the clock to be able to solve this case, but it's equally important to know that while this is gaining national attention, we work around the clock to solve all of our homicide cases. I'd like to bring the mayor up now to have him say a few words.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you all for joining us this morning. I want to thank Chief Bryant, the women and men of the homicide division who have done an incredible job on this case and so many other cases, 100 cases solved in 2025 because of their tireless work and professionalism and tips and information from the community that helped us achieve such incredible solve rates. I want to thank also members of the press. for sharing timely information, including the video footage of the person of interest that we know now is Mr. McKee. Members of the community for supporting CPD's investigation and for continuing to pray and support the Tepe family, particularly these little children. Just want to take a moment to express gratitude, grief, and resolve, not only for myself, but for the entire Columbus community. Grateful to the Division of Police for their professionalism and persistence and for their tireless work and collaboration that led to this arrest. You followed the facts and evaluated every credible lead with intentionality, integrity, and care for the victims and their families. I also want to thank members of the community who stepped forward with video footage and tips.
Okay, Tracy Townsend and Colin Dorsey here. We have been bringing you live coverage of Elaine Bryan and Andrew Ginther talking about the Tepe murders. We are covering this because it has gained national attention. We're going to take our coverage over onto 10 TV Plus.
Right, that's free to download right now in your TV.
Oh my God.
But for now,
I want to see the
our
press
Price is Right
conference.
viewers will send you back to regular programming.
And our residents. I pray this collaboration will help us prevent violent crime from happening in the first place. But it's also a powerful, powerful tool for solving crime when it does occur. The tips that were submitted in this case mattered. And I'm grateful to the residents and businesses who shared information. As Chief described, this was a targeted domestic violence attack that resulted in the deaths of 2 people and irrevocably changed the lives of their children, families, colleagues, and friends. Our hearts remain with Spencer and Monique, their loved ones, and especially the children impacted by this unimaginable loss. As this case now moves through the criminal justice process, we'll continue to respect this investigation and allow investigators and prosecutors to do their work. As Chief said, we will not do or say anything that will compromise the likelihood of a conviction. One thing we can still offer this family is the best possible chance at a conviction and justice for this unspeakable crime. We could also continue to lift up this family in our thoughts and prayers. I will continue to lift up every one of the 84 families that lost a loved one due to violence in 2025. I know the Chief and the Division of Police will too, in their thoughts and their actions. I know this case has taken on national interest, but I want to tell each of these families, these 84 families, CPD pursues every case with the same intensity, commitment, and resolve. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, sir. We'll take any questions at this time.
Chief, can you comment on a motive in this case? I mean, why did he allegedly?
Yeah, what's the motive?
And also,
I think she already said it.
At this time, we cannot comment on the motive. Again, part of the investigation.
Did you find any other evidence in the home in Lincoln Park?
What I can tell you is that we did search his property and we have evidence, but I can't speak to any specific evidence.
You said there were no signs.
Can you tell us which police agency arrested him and where he was taken into custody in Rockford?
Sure. This case is a great example of partnerships. So our partners with Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, federal agents, took him into custody very close to his place of employment.
what can you tell us about McKee's whereabouts between the day of the crime and the day he was picked up?
Part of the investigation, unfortunately, as we talked about, we're not able to share specifics, but what we can tell you is that we have evidence that he was there during the time of the actual homicides.
You said there were no signs of forced entry. Are you able to say any more about how he got into the house?
Unfortunately, we're not able to talk about that at this moment.
Is there any indication he had interactions with the kids or the kids may have seen or
Oh.
heard at this point?
We don't have that information. Again, part of the investigation, there's just certain things we can't talk about.
Neighbors had said that they had seen McKee in the neighborhood and in front of the Tepe home days before the homicide. Can you confirm that?
At this time, we're unable to talk about specific information, but again, when we get additional information, we'll be more happy to share it to the public.
I know this is ongoing investigation. I don't know if you can say this, but obviously they were divorced. Are you able to say anything about their relationship after that divorce? It was in 2017. Were they civil? I know he had a second wife as well.
Again, there is, the investigation is still ongoing. Just understand, we're still collecting information. We're still going through a lot of evidence, and there's just some things that we can't speak to right now.
Can you talk about the extradition? Will you be going to Rockford and pick him up, and when will that happen?
I'll let you speak to that.
Sure. We have policy related to extraditions. Felony warrants out of state are primarily handled by extradition companies. And so the determination of whether or not it will be detectives from Columbus or an outside entity, likely an outside entity, but the logistics are being worked out as we speak.
Any idea when that will happen?
I don't know when that will happen.
What kind of weapons did you find in his home?
We can't speak to specific weapons, but we did recover multiple weapons from the home, from his property.
How quickly was McKee a suspect? I know that family told us they pretty much assumed that it was that he was behind this crime.
What I can tell you is that every piece of evidence, every tip that we received, we immediately began to investigate it. So I can't give you a specific timeline, but any information that came in was immediately evaluated and investigated.
Are you able to say about how many tips you received? Obviously, people became really attached to this case.
Do you know specific numbers?
We don't have an exact number of the amount of tips that came in because some of them were the same or similar. So it was numerous and it was from multiple sources, which was greatly appreciated from the community, the media, the past individuals that were knowledgeable and familiar with the family, and then the residents of the area, which ultimately led us to this day right now.
We know digital forensics and DNA play a big role in investigations these days, but it doesn't happen in 60 minutes with commercial breaks. Is there any sense of the timeline of when some of that information will become available to you guys through that testing?
We're continuously looking for information, waiting for information. Unfortunately, we can't give you a specific timeline, but we're continuously working to get that information in.
The family mentioned that when he previously said that he had been abusive towards her in the past. Was there any evidence or indication of that prior to this incident?
What I can tell you is that we did not have any reports, or we did not have any information related to any type of incidents regarding the ex-husband and Monique.
Can you tell us if McKee and Mrs. Tepe had any contact leading up to this incident, months, weeks?
Any stalking concerns there?
Again, what we can share with you, we are sharing with you. There are some things that we can't share for investigative purposes, but what I can tell you again is that we didn't have any reports or anything linked to that specific location as it relates to the ex-husband and Monique Tepe.
Do you believe he's the person in the video that you shared the person of interest?
We do.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you've been listening to an update from the city of Columbus, from the mayor and from Columbus Division of Police.
Pretty short press conference. What do you guys think? So as far as the details that we know, right, that I believe that it was him in that video. What they found, how they linked the evidence, they said specifically. Let me go back a little bit because I feel like I might have missed something when I went to go grab some water. This right here, when
Of 2025 at approximately 10:04 a.m., Columbus Police Patrol officers were dispatched to the 1400 block of North 4th Street on a well-being check.
okay,
Officers arrived at scene and located the 2 adult victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. We now know that they were identified as Mr. Spencer Tepe and Mrs. Monique Tepe. Their 2 small children were also found in the residence, physically unharmed.
the dog was found there as well, just so people are aware.
On January 10th, 2026, detectives filed warrants charging Michael D. McKee, 39, with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Spencer and Monique Tepe. Mr. McKee was arrested in Rockford, Illinois without incident. He's currently incarcerated in the Winnebago County Jail and awaiting extradition to Columbus. We believe at this point, we have the person responsible for the murders of Monique and Spencer Tepe in custody.
Okay.
And that person is Michael McKee.
Whoa.
This is still an active and ongoing investigation.
One of the questions somebody asked in the chat, and I would agree, is how did he get into the property? I think that's the question that we have, right? All of us. So, yeah. You said you're being very rude. Don't read my opinion then. I said I was sorry. No reason to carry it on. If this is how it's treated, then I will unfollow. I'm so confused. What happened? I think most of us haven't watched this and would like to experience. Yeah, we haven't watched this. I was just stating what they said. I had already watched it. Did you mean to be rude at all? I'm sorry. I do not disrespect. I'm so confused, Neil. What is going on? Let's see. Who's being rude? I mean, what's going on? Who is attacking you? You said this lady is who? Come on now, Neil. Listen, Neil, we don't do that here, okay? Let's keep it cute. Okay, because that's the kind of stuff that distracts everything, all right? I have no idea what happened, and if you want to email me independently, that's fine, but let's keep it cute, okay? You can have your opinion. Thank you. Yeah, I hadn't seen it. That's why I'm here for it. I wanted to watch. I'm not sure what's going on either. Nobody's attacking you. And by the way, a moderator isn't attacking you. She's just directing you. Okay, they have a wrench. They're able to do that. Let me keep going here. I don't want to distract because that's too much.
Detectives are still going through evidence, tips, and videos. We can't speak to all the specific details related to this case, so we don't want to jeopardize the ultimate goal of conviction. But what we can say, this was a targeted attack. This was a domestic violence related attack. As we know, McKee is the ex-husband of Monique Tepe. We can say that we have the suspect's vehicle on neighborhood video surveillance arriving just before the murders and leaving shortly after.
Wow.
Detectives were able to link this vehicle to McKee. The vehicle was located in Rockford, Illinois, and evidence was found that showed McKee in possession of the vehicle before and after the homicides. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee.
Multiple weapons were taken. So this guy, to me, that's new information. I didn't know that, right? And also kind of where they stand. I don't think that I was waiting. I mean, guys, they have to preserve the investigation, right? Somebody said in the chat, like, why are they having a press conference if they can't answer the questions? Well, there's only so much you can answer, right, as it pertains to something like this. So I'm not at all surprised whatsoever. Yeah. Just so people are aware. You said, I wonder if there was DV and she was married to the doctor. Well, was he following her? Was he threatening her? Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? I have a lot of questions about that. You said, oh, yes. It's all good. Y'all, let's move on, okay? It's all good. We have to be able to move on. That's new information. So he was sitting on multiple weapons. No clue about that at all. Yeah, shout out to Cheeks. Cheeks, you're good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You made me bust into the chat just to say, okay, let's be nice, guys. I'm serious. Let's be nice, okay? I didn't even get to watch this. I didn't know that. Now that's new information to me. Weapons, didn't know. Unless that was disclosed somewhere else, didn't know. One of the things that, if you guys remember when Banfield was interviewing that lady who's the neighbor who used to be a reporter, the lady said that there was no circumstantial evidence that they thought they had. Well, I don't know if she's saying that they found the weapon or if they saw that he was sitting on numerous weapons or what exactly, which I think it's a very important distinction here. Okay.
So we don't want to jeopardize the ultimate goal of conviction. But what we can say, this was a targeted attack. This was a domestic violence related attack. As we know, McKee is the ex-husband of Monique Tepe.
It's a DV type of attack because they were at one point in a relationship, right?
We can say that we have the suspect's vehicle on neighborhood video surveillance arriving just before the murders and leaving shortly after. Detectives were able to link this vehicle to McKee. The vehicle was located in Rockford, Illinois, and evidence was found that showed McKee.
Okay, that is absolutely fine, but I'm also not going to let you like do all that, all right? You're more than welcome. Thank you. You can cancel your membership. That's fine. Okay, thank you. Moving on, because we have to move on. This is the kind of stuff that I don't like. I don't like taking attention from the actual topic. It takes me a minute to schedule something and then I'm late. And so we're not going to do that. This is cancel subscription, membership on your own terms. Thank you for your support. I have appreciated it, but don't do all that. Like, this is not the airport. You don't need to announce your departure. Thank you.
In possession of the vehicle before and after the homicides. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee. And there's a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides.
Okay.
I want to say that
they have something that ties to the homicide. There's evidence there, guys. So there is that. I mean, it's not like they're not sitting on anything. Okay. They're sitting on things for sure. No worries. Shout out to everybody. You said possible they know the caliber weapon used and found it in his home and waiting on ballistic reports. I agree. Maybe that's what it is. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it is. You said ex-husband, she moved on, got married, and had 2 children. Wow, he really never, I don't think he ever got over her. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, we have to move on, guys. Let's move on. You said they did find casing at the home. They did find it. So as far as circumstantial evidence, I mean, they're linking everything together. There you go. I said, I'm guessing the weapon is not what they have tied to the homicide. I'm guessing the weapon is what they have tied to the homicide. Right. For sure. You said, I'm on the, okay, wait. I was about to read one of James' jokes. He had several. That's what it sounds like. He had several pew-pews. It wasn't just like one. He had several. Right. They did find, and then they found the casing. This guy, they think that the guy, I mean, the one thing we know is that they believe that he was the one walking, or at least like somehow he was tied. He was the guy walking on the footage, right? The one they believe that's him. So there's that. They have a belief that is him. I mean, very likely so. Thoughts? Opinions? Thoughts and opinions? Let me know. You said, you know what? So am I. I'm thankful that he didn't harm any children and the dog and everything. For sure. Steeler, I get it. I'm like literally just seeing the back and forth in the chat. We're going live. I can't be going back and forth. Like, nobody's trying to be rude with anybody. Anybody that has a problem with the mod or whatever, you guys can email me and let me know. But for now, I have to keep it going, Steeler. And I understand, and I know some people are upset, and I get it. But I can't do anything. Like, literally, we're watching and we're trying to engage in the conversation, okay? So if that is how you feel free to email me, okay? We have to be able to move on. Okay, well, can we move on, please? Can we move on? Please, like, can we, literally, guys, I have an hour to get to these topics. Like, I really try to move things along. I don't know why we're still on the topic. Neil is more than welcome to email me. What I don't appreciate is I'm canceling. That's fine. I mean, you're allowed to do that. You can email me too and let me know what the issue is. I'd like to move on. I don't do the back and forth like that. Please and thank you. I would like to move along, but I mean, I guess I have to, let me know. Those poor kids thought they will be traumatized. They will be traumatized. I mean, just imagine all of that. I probably pulled DNA off of the shell casing too. I'm assuming too. You said it seems like the guy who called brother, I believe, found the children and took them downstairs. I don't think they saw anything. I hope not, but like, you know, it's just how it is. Let's see. Let's see. Thank you. You said now, I'm questioning everyone and I'm pissed off in the last 10 years. Well, I mean, it shows you that people can hold rage if people can hold rage against you, right? Like some people you may think may be over something. We don't know what was happening in between. What if what if she was being threatened? What if all this was going down? Like I just have a lot of questions, about it. We just don't know. We don't know. And the thing is, it just makes you wonder, like, if you've ever been in a situation where you have an ex that's really controlling, or, it wasn't the best relationship, what if he's not over you? Or, ex man, woman, man, whatever you date, like, that's a real thing. This was a 5-year time span. She had moved on. She had children. You know what I mean? Like, whole different relationship and whatnot. Let me know. You said, I have been holding rage against few people for decades. That's not healthy. It's not healthy. You know what I mean? You said the conference was pointless. They can never answer anything. Well, I get what you're saying. I feel like we found out new information, so I don't think it was necessarily pointless, in my opinion. I think people are waiting to hear like some explosive evidentiary news, but you don't want this to be disclosed here. You know why? Because then they can use that in the defense, and then stuff can hit the fan. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, you have to be careful. If the cops take suspect's partial print and combine that with fact he was in the area at the time, that would be enough to connect him to the scene. That would be a reason cops aren't talking. I would be very careful. You want to preserve the integrity of that investigation. You know what I mean? That's what you do. Thank you. You said I want to see everyone's phone and computer interactions will be answered there. This just comes out of nowhere. You said my mother has held grudges for ages. Well, people can hold grudges, but it doesn't mean that they're going to go and kill someone. Like, there's a clearly a distinction, right? There are some people that I could say I don't, I could have been mad or am mad at for a long, long time. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go out there. Like, it's just not in my heart to hurt anybody, right? So, yeah, I mean, people do that all the time. Doesn't mean you're going to go out there and hurt somebody and whatnot. I mean, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, but something must have clicked. You know what I mean? You say, can't wait to see if there's any recent communication between the exes, email, text. Bet there is something there. Yeah. You said, I also worry about him getting a mental health release and never being charged. Well, he'll need to be evaluated. There is this thing, like somebody said, these doctors, they hold this oath about, never doing any harm or anything like that. Yeah. But, in that same sentence, that oath that they hold to never do no harm, it also gives them a level of like power. Does that make sense? It's almost like there's something about having the ability to end somebody's life and being in control of somebody's health and outcome that makes psychopaths go off. Does that make sense? Doesn't mean that they're a bad doctor. They could be a great doctor, but yeah. Sometimes mental health can play a role, and something must have been building up. Yeah. Rage. So the ex-husband thought this was a genuine plan to murmur this couple and then go on the run and he wouldn't get caught. He is clearly evil and snaps. He snapped something. I'll never understand an entitled person must have steal someone's life from this world and their loved ones. Well, and then the fact that look, I'm happy that the children weren't hurt. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I'm happy. But at the same time, it's like the babies, you took those babies' parents. They're never, like, at 17 months old, a 17-month-old needs mom and dad, right? A 4-year-old needs mom and dad. Like, they need their parents. Can you imagine what life and the adjustment of that, and needing to be cared and comforted and everything? Oh, Brian Enton reported that McKee had outstanding medical lawsuits in Nevada. So he was not a good doctor, or like malpractice type? Really? Brian Enton is always ahead of the news. Like, shout out to Brian Enton. Really? Hold up. Brian Enton, he said that there was, like, I'm assuming, like, malpractice, like 5 hours. He did a deep dive. Now, hold up. Why am I not surprised that Brian Enton is amazing? I don't know why. Okay. Deep dive. Nevada. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let me, before we transition, let me show you guys this right here. Look at this.
There was a downward spiral that was happening with Dr. McKee after I had actually found out that he was working in Nevada for a while. He was working in Nevada and also in California at one point, which some people that I was talking to were saying that was a little strange for his career path to be moving around so much. Fox News is reporting that there was a downward spiral that had to do with his job performance, basically saying that he had issues when he was working in Nevada. Let me find this. This person told Fox Digital that he basically had no experience working as a vascular surgeon when he was in Nevada, and that he was in a downward spiral that began after a series of alleged surgical mishaps, one of which was detailed in a lawsuit, which I had heard about in Nevada. This person told Fox, and they're not named, he was always nice. He was always kind, and he wasn't one of those that has these like emotional outbursts or anything like that within the operating room or when he gets into a stressful situation, but that it was reckless for those around McKee to continue allowing him to perform high-risk surgeries knowing his limitations. Why are you letting a guy that's a year and a half out of fellowship, 2 years, free reign to do these crazy cases? How come there's nobody putting a stop saying, what are you thinking of doing? The source told Fox Digital. So apparently when he was in Nevada, working in Nevada as a surgeon, there were definitely some bumps in the road.
Wow. So it sounds like it was struggling. Steeler, you're right. Like at 50 and I still needed my parents. It sucks that they're gone. That's what I'm saying is like, depending on the kind of relationship you have with your parents, growing up, we had our moments, but I can't imagine my life without my parents. My parents are like my number one. I'd still cry over my parents, believe it or not. Like I'm close to them. But you're right. So just imagine at 4 years old and at 17 months old, like and those are your formative years, you're developing and everything. Like, it's just so sad. You said he looks like the cop we just saw in the press conference. Yada, 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 mean. Right. So they found more information that he was moving around. I mean, it doesn't sound like it does make you wonder if he had any more complaints and whatnot. So, ay, Dios mío. I guess we'll see what happens. Well, that's the conference, y'all. Thank you. You said you taking care of your mom. Are you? I get it. Yeah, I just can't see my life. The way he pronounces Nevada. Oh, Brian entered. He said Nevada. No, he just says it. Listen, I felt bad because I used to Illinois. People come through like, don't say it's Illinois. Okay. But I still say Illinois. I don't know. It's like a habit, right? And it was funny because Nate, the lawyer, he said the other day I was watching a live that he was doing, and he has the same habit of saying Illinois, like adding an extra S or whatever. I don't know. It's just a habit. This is a thing we say. Rabbit was outside hunting. LOL. JK. It's a thing. I don't know. You do it too? Okay. So, but people do come. They will get at me when I say it. It's not like, Arkansas. I don't say Arkansas, like, but I've heard people say it like that. Illinois, yeah. Y'all are laughing at. Why are you laughing at me? Hey, I know it's just like if you're close to your parents, you'll miss them every day, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you don't get over that. But imagine these are children that are babies. It's just how it is. Y'all are laughing at me. Excuse me, truth teller. All right. So you might get a video where I say Illinois and you'll be like, what the hell did she just say? It's just how I say it. I pronounce it that way. Yeah. And Gina, condolences to your loss. Absolutely. Okay. Moving on up. Moving on. So yesterday, y'all want to get into this news about Mr. Timothy Busfield. So yesterday we were talking about, well, it's been like the talk all weekend, right? And, we read the arrest warrant. We reviewed what the detective said. We talked a lot about it yesterday. It was breaking news that, Timothy Busfield decided to do a video where he said, I rented a car and I'm traveling to New Mexico to turn myself in. and all this other stuff. But before he did all that, he basically told the people that he will be exonerated, that this is all false, and it's all false. All the allegations are false. Now, Melissa Gilbert stands with and supports her husband, Timothy Busfield, amid the abuse of the child S abuse allegations. Okay, this is what the rep says. So he turned himself in Albuquerque Police Department on January 13th. This is what's been confirmed. And so far, Melissa's supporting her husband. Okay. So again, he's facing 2 counts of criminal contact of a minor and 1 count of child abuse involving twins, 2 twin boys, 11 years old. Busfield surrendered to authorities on January 13th. Melissa Gilbert is supporting her husband as he faces these crimes. On Tuesday, January 13th, he surrendered himself 4 days after a warrant was released for his arrest. The West Wing actor faces 2 counts of criminal conduct with the child. Now, TMZ obtained that video. Now, minutes after he shared that video, a rep for Melissa Gilbert issued a statement on her behalf. And this is what it says. Melissa Gilbert is not making public statements at this time. The statement began, any purported statements circulating online, including AI-generated deep fakes of her breaking her silence, should not be treated as coming from her. She is honoring the request of Tim's lawyers not to speak publicly while the legal process unfolds. The statement continues. During this period, her focus is on supporting and caring for their very large family as they navigate this moment. Melissa stands with and supports her husband. Melissa stands with and supports her husband and will address the public at an appropriate time. We ask that their privacy be respected. Okay? Thoughts, opinions, that is a direct statement. Me, I'm hooked on phonics still. Thoughts and opinions? No way you can support the spouse? Thoughts and opinions? This isn't it's basically, I don't know. So the statement was, Vicky, I'm not breaking my silence. There's a lot of AI generated statements. However, if there is a statement, is that I'm standing by my husband, which I think is a statement in itself. Correct? Am I wrong? Let me know. How large is their family? I have no clue. Pretty large, it sounds like, based on the statement from the rep. Now, it's coming from the rep. It's not coming from AI. You said, what? I haven't watched anything about this yet. And I didn't know there was minors involved. Yeah, Sasha, you got to go to our other videos and watch. Katie did it. Says she's going to prove her husband until proven otherwise. She's going to support her husband until proven otherwise, I'm sure. Well, let me ask you guys a question. Because look, I think that, all of this is difficult, right? Like if something occurred, he still deserves to defend himself regardless. We don't, some of y'all may not agree with that, but this is how America works. America, you defend yourself when you're being accused, right? In a court of law. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. He says he didn't do anything. Okay. He says that he will be exonerated, whatever that means. Okay. If you're married to somebody like this, and I don't know if it's like the trend. I mean, yesterday, Julio Iglesias, I went down a rabbit hole myself after the Julio Iglesias news. Enrique Iglesias' dad, right? For those that don't know who Julio Iglesias is, in the Latin community, he is a well-known, prominent figure. Okay, like I don't know who doesn't know Julio Iglesias, even though the guy is from Spain. A lot of us, Mexicanos, we know who Julio Iglesias is. We've heard his music. We understand that there's a lineage of music and stuff like that. When allegations, and by the way, this is a good name to even bring up, like Ricky Martin too. Well, Julio Iglesias has a whole rabbit hole of things that have come out in the past. I had no idea. And I'm talking about, I had never even looked at that. Lawsuits in the United States, lawsuits in Spain, lawsuits in different places. Like in España, there's an inquiry. So that's a whole legal thing. Like that's a criminal thing over there. That's not even like a lawsuit, like, civil stuff. There's a criminal inquiry about Julio Iglesias. So it totally took me to a different rabbit hole. I said, oh my, let me write this down. I have to look at Julio Iglesias and see what he did and didn't do, because I had no idea. And when I do videos, I really like to learn about I like doing videos about content that I didn't even know, because then I kind of learn with you guys all. Does that make sense? And kind of capture that process while I'm recording. Yeah, there's a lot. Vicky, go look. But the one in Spain that's a criminal. That's like I think it's called an inquest. I don't know. Los españoles, shout out to the Spaniards. Y'all do something different over there. But that's more criminal. There's a criminal investigation happening in Spain. But there's a bunch of civil lawsuits here that have been filed against Julio Iglesias. I had no idea. So there's that. Okay. Ricky Martin, by the way, also for those that don't know, his nephew made allegations. Ricky Martin cleared his name. He sued his nephew. And then all of that kind of came out, and there were false allegations that were made against Ricky Martin by his own family member. Okay. So stuff like this does happen, right? I mean, it's the nature of the situation, that's been cleared. There's that. So the question that I have for you guys, okay, in the chat, think about it. Would you run out immediately if you've been married to somebody for 12 years, which is what the case is here for these two individuals, okay? 12 years. Melissa, there was 2 lawsuits in I think 94. There might be more, but at least my understanding. 94, 96, there was a lawsuit that involved a 17-year-old. Melissa had to have known about that. There was a lawsuit a year before they got married in 2012. Also, similar touching allegations, but that was of an adult woman. No criminal allegations came out of that. All of this was civil. She had to have known then before she married, right? Like, I feel like people, you tend to, you do these kinds of things you look into, right? And you accept or understand or do something with the information that you received about the person that you want to be with. It doesn't necessarily mean that you throw the person away, right? Like if they've made measures to better themselves, I don't know. So now, present time, here we are. Do you stand by your man after 12 years of marriage? Let's be real honest, because some of you guys would be like, nah. I want you to think about this. Okay, let's think about this. Do you stand by your man while he's fighting? He's telling you, or by your woman too. Okay, man or woman, whatever, man or man. I want to know in the chat, and I ask you guys, okay, if you stand by your man or woman, these allegations come out, and he tells you, I didn't do this. Do you stand by him or her until you look at the case and maybe find out otherwise? What if he's found innocent? What if he's found like he didn't do anything? What if, because this can happen, guys. Now, again, think of it. Look at y'all. Yo, this chat is, listen, we had a little bit of a rocky start, let me just say, but look at y'all turned it around. Thank you so much. This is what I live for. I live for these conversations, because we could say a bunch of shit, honestly, but until you're actually facing it, it's a whole different monster. I've seen it both ways, believe it or not, in real life, okay? I've seen situations where people do stand by the person that they married, and they'll believe it, and either they're exonerated, or they or they're not. You said Gilbert is a mess. It's not the first allegation. You're right. Especially when paid off in the first allegation, he can stand up for himself. It is not. Similar allegations. Now remember, the first one was of a 17-year-old. Okay, look at First Liberty Podcast. Listen, I'm going to wait to see how it plays out. Okay. All right. You said I have to go with my gut. It all depends on what my gut is telling me. It's a difficult situation no matter where you land, because I know, like, some people will say, nope, I'm out, and that's fine. I believe that people wouldn't be able to be able to take that. But then the other side to this too, what if he was set up? What if there was that, right? I get it. Now, mind you, this is what's interesting. A year before all of this went down, Melissa posted on her social media how she stood by victims and against childhood SA. Okay. This is a hard one. This, honestly, you said I'm a ride or die till I hear the evidence that will determine the outcome. Thank you, Panda Anna. And I love that you said that, because I think that, some people, that's why I love my chat. That's why I love you guys, because you guys really can give me a different perspective and maybe even stand against the grain in an argument. I'm cool with that, right? You said tricky one. It can be. It can be. Because it just depends. Some of you guys, let me ask you another question to push the envelope a little bit further. Did Amber Heard lie? Did Amber Heard lie in her case against Johnny Depp? Was she a liar? I think she was found to be a liar, but in your opinion, yes, she did. Okay. Okay. All right. You said no. See, I have people that are on opposite sides on this one. That's a very accurate statement. Now, please note, we're talking about children here, okay? We're talking about children. Do people lie in civil court? Yeah, they do. Do people lie? Yeah. I've asked people before, do you lie? No, I would never lie. Omission is also a lie, right? Like when you omit information. People lie all the time. If somebody tells you I never lie, yeah. Okay. But what statement did she make about Timothy? Well, his official statement, though, Vicky, she says she's standing by her man. You said people lie all the time. Can children lie? Yes, they can. It's the truth, guys. Like, I mean, I'm just letting you know. Children can lie too. People can lie. Children can lie. Now, again, this is why I say I wonder, this is going to be a hard case for him to fight. I'm going to say that right now. Let me tell you what stands out to me. Why, personally for me, I believe the children at this point, unless I can be proven otherwise. One of the red flags, and I said it in the video yesterday that I had, was the way the timeline of events, right? But the sole fact that the child met with the therapist, I'm thinking outside of the presence of the adult, which is the mom, and made multiple allegations and accusations while in session, I think that gives validity to the child. I think that the PTS symptoms give validity to the things that the child is saying. Bedwetting being one of them, right? Like that's a very kind of specific problem to have. It is, right? So I think that there's some validity there to a lot of the things, especially on the part where the admissions happen with the social worker therapist. I think she's like a licensed master social worker. That gives me validity to believe that there's something more to this. Okay. Now, the other side to this too, opportunity, time. Was there opportunity for him to be alone with that child? Yes. Based on the assessment of this detective, based on his interviews, there was time. There are times that directors are alone with children, and there were times and witnesses. Don't forget the anonymous call to the SAG-AFTRA, okay, hotline. Why didn't that get referred over to the police or CPS for an investigation? Why? I'm wondering. Well, CPS wouldn't even. We wouldn't, that would be more of a police investigation. You said children can also lie. Yes. And that's the other thing too, is we have to accept, guys, children can lie too. Yes. One of the questions, although by stages of development, the two children, unless they've had other trauma, should be able to tell you the difference between a truth and a lie. And you know, sometimes children lie. That's just the reality of it. I mean, just like adults lie, children can lie. We don't want to see it that way, but I'm not worried about that because now we have these PTSD symptoms that corroborate that something could have happened. But this is a very, very true situation. So that's why when it comes to a case like this, we got to step back a little bit and find out, well, how the DA's got to prove their case still, right? Are they going to hire, they're going to bring that therapist to testify. She's going to have to, you know, give her accounts. They're going to pull all her therapy notes. They're going to look into this. They're going to look into, you know, everything that was said there. They're going to bring the pediatrician. Okay. There's a twin brother who is also disclosed things, but doesn't have the same PTS symptoms as the other child. They're going to do a bunch of things to kind of put things together. You have the forensic interview that was done. They're going to pull that as well. They're going to hear what was said in the forensic interview and whatnot. When I did jury duty, I sat in jury duty in a very, very similar case. Okay. Very similar case. So and please know, like, having to make a decision about that is completely different than versus being an outside in the public and actually giving an opinion. It's two different things. You said, could have been documented that his wife is beloved in the Gill. So just so happens to be the former president of it. She was told it was buried. I asked the question yesterday, and the SAG-AFTRA, right? 'Cause she was like president, and somebody said no, she was already gone by then. There's like another president or whatever. Could very well be the case, but also because they kind of shot themselves in the foot on this one because they hired a third-party agency to investigate, and it wasn't like Warner Brothers was very open to any of the, you know, back and forth and conversation and whatnot, right? Keep that in mind. Like, they weren't very receptive of, you know, and they're there to protect themselves and their employees. They don't give a shit. Like, you know, once something's going on, there's an investigation, they shut down, and then they just put the attorney to deal with all that. They don't have to say anything. When the detective said, you know, there are other children in the area, he was concerned about the other children. Yeah, if you're going to talk to the other children, you have to talk to us. And then these people wouldn't talk because they're worried about retaliation, which is a real thing. They don't want to talk. They don't want to lose their job. I mean, come on, it's very hard to get a job like that. And then, you know, your profile goes out there and, you know, you're wondering and whatnot. Yeah, it's just my thought. Y'all let me know what you guys think in the comments, okay? Oh my God, this is so weird. Okay. Y'all let me know what you guys think. You said the children's parents need to be evaluated. The children, you think that they might be questioned? Who knows? Please note that this wasn't like a relationship where they just hung out at work. You know, they vacationed together. Not vacation, I'm sorry. They spent Christmas and holidays together. For whatever reason, that stood out to me. Yeah. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Sorry, man. Everybody's like calling me, man. It's like, hold up. Thank you. There's a spousal privilege to the Fifth Amendment. Even if a spouse is a witness to the crime, he or she cannot be forced to testify against him. That's true. Maybe she followed advice from a lawyer, and I don't think she wants to testify against him. You know, but I don't know if there would be anything. There's another president, but she was the previous president. Yeah. So any complaints, you put it in there. How convenient. SAG-AFTRA is a union, and in my experience, unions have no interest in individual issues, but rather issues at a larger group. Yeah. Unions are a trip, man. I used to belong to one when I worked in government. They're a trip. That's what I gotta say. Yeah. Y'all let me know what you guys think. The question is, if you're watching the replay, is would you stand by your man or woman? Would you wait until the trial's over and then you decide? What would you do? And then if the trial's over and he's found guilty, would you still stick around? What if he's not found guilty? What if he's found innocent? Well, what would you do? And that's a very hard place it's easy for us to evaluate that. It's hard when you're actually in it. Yeah. That's what I gotta say about that. It's also very difficult for the victim. Let's not forget that. Do a survey. So y'all going to fight? All right. I'm going to do the survey, and then we have to move on to D4VD because this is a trip, man. The D4VD stuff is a trip, but let me get a little survey going because y'all asked for it. I think that's an interesting survey. I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think. View your channel. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Thank you. Appreciate it. Start a poll. No, not a poll. Start a poll. Would you stick by your significant other if you found out about SA child charges? The answer is yes. Yes, whether they're true or not. Yes, true, regardless of guilt. Okay, we're going to put that regardless of guilt. No, not even if guilty. And then we're going to put unsure. Would that be so? Would you stick by your significant other if you found out about SA child charges? The first one is yes, regardless of guilt. No, not even if guilty. No, not even if not guilty. There you go. Yes, regardless of guilt. No, not even if not guilty, and unsure. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote. Hit the like button, y'all. Look at y'all are having like a visceral reaction in the chat. That's ambiguous because we're not taking into account the previous cases. Well, okay, take into account the previous cases. Sorry, Vicky. He's like, I'm going to keep your ass on your toes right now. Keep into account that there were 2 previous civil cases, not criminal, civil cases with similar allegations, okay? No, because I would always be wondering. Oh, that's a good point. He's like, Rabbit, you're not doing this shit to us. No, you're not. Yeah, I hear you. See, and this is a good point. Some of you guys are victims of childhood SA, and that would be triggering, right? Even answering this. So please don't feel like you need to answer. This is literally asking everybody, like, in general, because it's a good survey. You said you picked the wrong one. Warren picked the wrong one. So if there's more votes in one, be careful. Oh, see, Panda, like, this is a good point. I don't need a conviction. The first exhibit says Google search CSAM. I'm out. We don't know. Can't answer without the facts. Okay. Victims need to be believed, even children. My answer is better off. Ooh, okay. Now I got to see this poll. What did you guys say? But it's true. And please, if you are a victim of childhood SA, don't feel the need to answer this. But this is a question. And because as somebody who has seen situations like that play out, I think it's an important conversation for us to have. Nobody wants to be in a situation like that. Overall, we don't want victims of childhood SA. We don't want these kinds of behaviors. We don't want perpetrators. But if there are, people need to be held accountable for sure. Look at this. Wow, this poll, only 100 votes. And already I'm like, oh my God. But even the unsure part. Okay. All right. Hurry up because I'm going to close it now. We got to move on. We're going to move on here. Let's talk about D4VD. Okay. Are people visiting Celeste's gravesite and then filming it? I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's different if you like, I don't know, man. All right. I'm going to end this poll right now. I have my opinions about that. This was posted on Reddit. I don't know, Greek lady. Unless it's just to pay your respects, I wouldn't be there. But then again, I hold a different view about, yes, there's a gravesite for her. She was buried. It's a video. I don't even know if I want to. It is on Reddit. Hold up, let me see. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about this. It's literally a TikTok video. Hold up.
We heard about your case and just wanted to stop by and say hi and pay our respects. Maybe get some answers.
What is he doing? What is asking, like a seance type of thing? Like, is he asking questions like a seance type of thing? Like, is that what I'm seeing? Yeah, like it's different to take flowers, but are people, Lord have mercy, y'all have been doing too much, man. You don't stand, like you're standing on her grave too. That's the thing that I don't like. I'm pretty sure there was a casket. Sarah Lynn said it's to communicate with her. You have got to be kidding me, man. I'm sorry. I'm struggling with this one. All right. Let me read this real quick.
We heard about
Yeah.
no way. It's a date, huh?
I think that it's like a thing to try to communicate with her. Gross. It's a complete stranger doing this. Yeah, people are so stupid and weird. People are disgusting. They have no boundaries. Sickening. Decorum. It's very sick. Okay, let me tell you something. All right. And it's not to call out, but this is why I struggle at times. Not to say that I don't find it interesting or anything like that. You guys can believe whatever y'all want to believe, okay? When people come into my chat and they tell me, did you hear the latest video on this person that's doing a seance or calling or called the spirits and what the spirit said? And it's a case that we're looking into. This is why I struggle with it, right? Because it's like in some cultures, especially in some Latino cultures, some people don't get down like that. We respect the dead, right? And so much so that in certain days, you kind of remember them. You don't willfully go to their graveside and disrespect them. This is why I don't like when people come in here. Did you see what this creator said? Selena Gomez set up, Celeste Rivas. What? Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, how do you know? Well, because they seanced her. They used the cans with the thing and the radio, and it was going waves like that. And y'all can believe that. Believe it. That's fine. That's all fine. But what a way to take the person's dignity, right? Or the memory of that person. If Celeste was a relation or a relative of mine, I'd struggle with it. Now, some of the stuff is interesting. I'll tell you, man. When I hear Sloan Bella, when the whole Diddy situation happened, I was like, dang, really? Like that's crazy. And then all that went okay. I could entertain some of it where I'm like, okay, I get it, but some of it is very difficult because you have to wonder, we're supposed to make people believe this, and this person was alive at some point. Like this isn't how you go about bringing justice. Bring a little audio radio thing and put it over her grave. You're like standing over her grave. Can somebody tell somebody on TikTok that this isn't okay? It's one thing. Like I've seen videos of people that clean graves, right? And I'm like, all right, like sometimes they're restoring the grave, totally cool, get it, cool, right? But sometimes it's like you just gotta. I believe in respecting the dead. I do. It's interesting, but I'm on the fence on this one. You said you can visit my spirit. I'm sure I would have a lot to say. I don't want to. I don't want to do that, you know. And please note, like, we don't know how she died. You know, there's still a lot of speculation about whether it was murder, whether it was this or it was that or it was the other, man. It's like, it's a lot, but I'm sad to see that we've taken it to this point, that we could talk about the case. We can speculate. I'm here for speculation, but to take it to the point where we take it to a spiritual ground, just not there for that. That was disgusting. That's how I feel. I don't know. Okay. So apparently it was reported that D4, I think this isn't really new news because it's been said that D4VD has like this. Let me remove this picture because this is just disturbing to me overall. I hate that. I hate this. And I hope this guy do something with yourself other than that. Like, go do something. Go do something. Go plant a flower, weave a basket, do something. Because this is just not it. I mean, you know, it's different. Lord have mercy, I didn't expect that to be loud. It's different to, like, you know, if you're doing flowers and stuff like that out of respect, but we got to be careful, y'all, because this isn't it. Anyways, whew, all right, I'm in my feelings and I need to stop. So there was there's this thing about D4VD having like a secret Discord and whatnot. Like, he's communicating with fans directly through a secret Discord. Are any of you guys surprised by that? I guess that's the question that I have. I mean, are we surprised that he would be communicating with people? I think, to me, he strikes me as the type of person that can't really get off the internet. So, like, shout out to Matt here, because this is what he reported, that he was talking to fans on a new Discord.
8th, 2026 at 7:32 in the morning, a Discord server was made. It's a small Discord. There's like 20 something people in it, and it consists of fans of David, people who still enjoy his music, people who believe in his innocence and feel like he did nothing wrong here. And these fans of his are under the impression that David is in this Discord and communicating with them. Now, is this actually David behind this account? I have no idea, but I'm going to still share what this account claiming to be David is saying, because I personally feel like while David has not spoken out once about this entire situation, there are people close to him and in his corner who have been trying to throw out little seeds in order to showcase his innocence and maybe shift the blame onto someone other than him. So yesterday at 11:42 p.m., David says hi in the chat. Someone's like, wait, bro, who's this? And this person claiming to be David says, me. Someone says, I touched you on your tour, David. I haven't washed my hands since, to which this account, again claiming to be David, says, oh, thank you, twin. They respond back saying, yes, I love you, King. You're so innocent, to which this account, claiming to be David, says, I am. Someone else says, I've been saying someone is trying to ruin David's career. Someone else says, you wouldn't harm a fly, to which this person, claiming to be David again, says, probably my manager.
I mean, anybody can claim to be David. I guess I'd have to see how they figure that out. You know, I guess anybody. But, so I guess there's somebody out there on a Discord, secret Discord, 28 people, claiming to be David. I just don't think David would be this naive, if that makes sense, to get online. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Then again, who would leave the body of a child in a car like that? You know, I don't know.
What I mean when I say someone's trying to shift the focus. The only question is this David doing this to his fans? Is this someone close to David doing this on his behalf?
Yes.
Or is this just a troll trying to make people who like David continue liking him? The founder of this group, which I find interesting and slightly suspicious, says, David, if you had one last message for your fans, what would it be? And this David account responds, I love you. Thank you, amigo and amigas, for the greatest 4 years of my life. Thank you for bringing me to where I am today, and only God knows my direction and my innocence. Amen. Now, something that I've noticed with David is that he usually posts and starts sentences with lowercase letters, and we're seeing a similar pattern here in this specific Discord. There are a few situations where he uses uppercase letters at the start of sentences, as you can see right here, and we also see see that in the Discord as well from this account. Obviously, this doesn't prove that this is 100% David, but I always look into stuff like this to see if I can prove that it's not. But I can't here because the way they're typing, the language they're using, it's very similar. So yeah, definitely kind of strange. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments.
Thoughts?
And hopefully we do have some progress being made behind the scenes when it comes to this investigation.
So somebody also, one of my members sent something to me too, which I thought was very interesting. I'm going to show it to you guys. It's Delank. I think it's Delank. I can never say their name. But anyways, they said to me, Robert, I'm not sure if this means anything, but there's any way you can send this. Let me see. Hold up. David's Discord. I found strange that they're asking about anyone being in the Santa Barbara area. Hold up. With money involved. So I guess there was a member asking in D4VD's Discord sometime in June 25th of 2025. Let me show y'all without showing y'all my messages and stuff like that. This is my Discord, okay? Shout out to I'm gonna call him D-Land. I think they might be in the chat. Hold up. I think you're in the chat. Are you in the chat? Yeah, I saw you. I can never say your name correctly. You sent this to me. Where are you? Where are you? I just saw you. Here you are. Thank you. How do you say your name? Delusion is one hell of a rug. Yes. So you're the one that sent it to me, and I saw this, and it took me a minute to kind of answer. Sometimes I answer out loud, like right now, when people message me. You found this, or at least this was found in the Discord. Was this on Reddit yet? Somebody said and this is D4VD's Discord. This is June 25th, 2025 at 11:38 a.m. HMU, if you know anyone in the Santa Ynez, is it Ynez? Ynez? It's not Ynez. Ynez area of California, money. Deladank, LOL. And then you said, I messed up the location. It's Santa Barbara, California. If anyone around there, please DM me. June 25th, 2025 at 11:56 a.m. This is D4VD's Discord. That's interesting. Don't know if any relation. Somebody in D4VD's Discord said, listen, if anybody's in the Santa Barbara, California area, this is June, this is the summer months on the 25th. If anyone's there, please DM me. Could be something, could be nothing. That's a good find. I don't know. It's interesting. Let me know what y'all think. You said, do you guys by March hopefully, I think by March we'll probably be able to have something. I don't know. It is definitely this strange, right? They initially say Ynez or Yas or whatever. And then it went over to this. I messed up the location. I don't know. You said if any of these persons deflecting onto people other than D4VD were actually credible, it would mean that they have the personal knowledge of the crime. So if they're serious, they're implicating themselves. Right. I'm like, whoever that person is. But this was back in June, so she was already gone by then. Santa Barbara. Has this been shared on the Reddit? Dell, let me know. Santa Ynez is pretty much Santa Barbara, pretty close. Gotcha. I was like, it's a Y. That's why it threw me off. So it's Ynez. Okay. So I said it correctly. Santa Ynez. Yeah, Ynez. I have a cousin named Ynez. So, yeah, I'm familiar. That's why, we don't spell it with the Y. We spell it with an I. Yeah, okay. So, thoughts, opinions? Would he be stupid enough to be in a Discord talking to people? I don't know. Thank you, Barbara Bish. Thank you so much. Lord have mercy. Thank you for the support. And James, thank you for the 10 memberships. I'm sorry, y'all. James, thank you. I forgot to thank you, James. My apologies. We got into like a heated earlier this morning, so that's why it kind of threw me off. But thank you, James. Appreciate it. And Barbara Bish, thank you so much for the $19.99. You said no, Rabbit. I don't go to Reddit, but it might be worth sharing. Yeah, let me. I don't know if. Let me stop sharing my thing. Flojo, if you're in the chat, I'll send that to you. So you could check it out. Maybe share it on your channel too if you want. But it's an interesting receipt. Thank you. I've never seen it even posted. So it's an interesting receipt. Let me know what you guys think. Yes. All right, guys. I do have to go because the sitter just called me. I gotta go tend to baby bunny. Guys, do me a favor. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hit me up. I have an email. If you guys ever have an issue in the chat or something's going on, hit me up in the email and I will see what I can do and kind of go from there. I'm one of those, I don't pay attention to the chat. So shout out to my mods. I do rely on my mods a lot. They're amazing to help with the chat. Sometimes I look, sometimes I don't. I try to be as interactive as I can, but sometimes, like, especially today, I was already late and I was zoned in. So, yeah, hit me up if there's something going on or whatever, and we can address it there. Other than that, that's kind of how I deal. I don't do very well with, verbal vomits and stuff like that because it distracts from the content, and it's really difficult. I mean, I have to pay and have somebody watch Baby Bunny, and so it's important for me to get right into the agenda. I feel like time is always of the essence, and we have to keep it going for you and for me. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. I will see you guys on the next one. Oh my God. Nebi, thank you so much for gifting 5. Thank you. Or not gifting. I'm sorry. For the super sticker. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button. Bye guys. Bye.